I wasn't always the guy I am today. They say that there are 10 defining moments in your life, 10 instances in time that form much of who you are, your core character, so to speak. These 10 moments are the times you think about when you remember an instant shift in your character or understanding of the world. Even though it's embarrassing and something I'd much rather forget, I'm going to share with you one of my defining moments and why spending the next 8 minutes watching this could be a defining moment in your life, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. I'm also going to give you 10 tips for instantly improving self-esteem, and we'll cover that a little later as well. I looked out the window for the 47th time, wondering what was keeping Susan. It was May, and in May in Indiana, the sun sets around 9 o'clock. I had tried texting her and calling her cell a number of times without any luck. I was worried something had happened to my wife. Usually, if she planned to be later than 7:30, she would have phoned. As the sun continued to sink behind the pink clouds, I had an uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach. What could possibly be keeping her? I strained to see further down the street, but the sun, low in the sky, made it impossible. I didn't remember if she had said she had a late meeting, but usually she wrote it on the calendar on the fridge. Nothing for today. But why hasn't she called? At 37, I thought I had it pretty good. Most of my friends were unhappy with their job, their marriage, or money was really tight. It seemed like everyone around me was struggling with challenges and marriages were falling apart all over the place. I liked my job as a technical writer for a software company. It wasn't anything glamorous, but it paid the bills. We had a house, a couple of cars, and if we played our cards right, we were able to take a yearly trip to a little all-inclusive resort in Cancun, Mexico. Susan and I had been married for 14 years, and it felt to me like things were fine. Life was as it should be. I continued to pace the living room in front of the window. Finally, at 9:27, she pulled her white Honda Accord in the drive. I could see from the look on her face that something was wrong. She reluctantly walked up the driveway and into the house. When I moved to give her a hug, she turned and slid into the house, careful not to touch me. "We need to talk," she said. What happened next were the worst 30 minutes of my life. In a nutshell, it became clear that we did not have the same views on our marriage. It seemed that she hated our life and our relationship. What I found to be comfortable, she thought was boring. She thought I was especially boring and that I had no spark in me. She said the life I was living was one of quiet desperation, and that she'd die if she didn't get out of there and start living life again. What kind of guy lacks the ambition to move ahead in his job? Or in life, for that matter? She said she was truly sorry and she never wanted to hurt me, but that she wasn't excited by me anymore. After many tears and her packing up as much stuff as the 2 suitcases we had in the closet could carry, she left for good. I sat there on our burgundy leather couch we had picked out together with my mouth hanging open. How could I have not seen this coming? Did she warn me and I didn't listen? What was so wrong with our lives that we couldn't work it out? And the biggest question, what was wrong with me that she could choose another guy over me? In the days and weeks that followed, I did a lot of drinking, thinking, and soul-searching. I realized that not only had I contributed to the breakup of my marriage, I had contributed to my life of mediocrity, and that I actually was living a life of quiet desperation. As much as I hated to admit it, and I bitterly admitted it only when I was drinking heavily, Susan was right. My self-esteem was seriously lacking, even though I had never thought of myself as a guy who lacked confidence. I came to the conclusion that this lack of self-esteem was a major roadblock to getting what I wanted, and I knew somehow I had to get over it. Maybe you've had that experience, when you know you need to change, but you're not sure what needs to change or how to go about doing it. If it's your self-esteem that could use a boost, I'll share with you some quick tips later on in this video that can make a difference immediately. I was searching for a way to ease the pain. I did a lot of reading and feeling sorry for myself. I felt I needed to change, but I didn't know what that would look like. I had a friend who was divorced, and through a series of conversations, I realized there were some benefits to being divorced and being able to start over. Simple stuff like not having to order pizza when you really wanted Chinese, and the bigger stuff like buying the car I like, not the sensible, economical car, or whether to rent or buy. One of the benefits to being suddenly single is it forced me to take inventory of my life, not just my marriage, but my life. And some of the things I learned while taking inventory weren't all that attractive. I learned that my lack of confidence had really gotten in the way of my success in getting what I really wanted. I learned that I lost out on opportunities at work and in life because I wasn't good at office politics or making the connections with people who make decisions. I also learned that it was my self-image that kept me from getting the things I truly wanted. When I was really honest with myself, I could see that part of the pain of Susan leaving me had to do with the fact that I wasn't that great at keeping her interest. That didn't bode well for catching the eye of someone new either. And like many other men, much of the motivation to change came from the desire to attract attention from the opposite sex. So the hunt was on. I made an oath to myself to change. I would read everything on the subject of personal magnetism, persuasion, and seduction. I promised myself to become an expert in getting what I want, whether that be a raise at work, a better deal on a car, or a woman I want to meet. In my quest to become the persuasion expert, I read all kinds of stuff. I read historical documents and the results of human behavior studies. I learned about how the brain works and techniques to unconsciously influence people you're speaking with. I also learned the secrets to making myself more attractive to others, so that they are looking for what I have to offer instead of me begging for their attention. In my relentless attempt to find the cutting-edge information on personal magnetism, I was frustrated to realize that just a few pieces of it were actually made available to the public in general. I myself had to research through many books, articles, and course fragments to learn and develop a workable method. My first criteria for research in any field of my interests were to make sure that whatever technique I learned worked in real life when I most needed it. It did not matter to me if a Mexican medicine man or a conceited psychologist taught such techniques. My basic questions were, does it work? Can it be easily taught? And can it be reproduced by others with the same results? My main goal was to put all the parts of the big puzzle together in a concise, easy to understand, and practical method so I could employ the pieces bit by bit for maximum results. And guess what? It worked. I started to get the kind of results I wanted but thought I could never have. I negotiated a 15% raise in a year where there was a hiring freeze. I dated a number of beautiful and interesting women, one of whom eventually became my wife. Overall, my confidence grew and I started getting opportunities that I never would have before, all from using these techniques. This book is a result of years of personal research, practice, and real-life trial and error experiments. My laboratory was the street, clubs, parties, churches, supermarkets, places where people like you and me gather and meet. The subjects were people from all walks of life, from housewives to executive officers of big corporations, and most of the times the techniques taught here were successful to accomplish the results I desired. If you think about it, at this exact moment, somewhere in the world, there are people using these same skills to sell their products, seduce the opposite sex, get a raise, avoid a traffic ticket, or even start a business. These amazing techniques, which are used by a few leaders and masterminds, will significantly enhance every aspect of your personal life at the moment you start applying it. And by the time you conclude this course, you'll be more than able to prove it for yourself, for it is designed to help you acquire self-confidence, personal power, charisma, magnetism, attractive power, and persuasion skills. Our personal magnetism training program consists of 3 equally important phases. But first, a little story. There was once a master martial artist whose dream it was to train under the great Bruce Lee. "Please, Sensei," he asked, "isn't there anything I can do to earn the privilege of studying under you?" Bruce held up 2 cups, both filled with tea. "The first cup," said Bruce, "represents all of your knowledge about martial arts. The second cup represents all of my knowledge about martial arts. If you want to fill your cup with my knowledge, you must first empty your cup of your knowledge." It is the same with the 3 phases of our personal magnetism program. You need to empty your mind of limiting beliefs, fear, and old, inaccurate memories of who you are and what you can do. Only then can you learn the techniques that will help you get what you want. In the first phase, you will learn how to completely change your self-perception, self-image, belief system, as well as to condition new thinking habits into your mind to project yourself as a magnetic and assertive individual. The second phase consists of an understanding of the instinctive psychological needs, weaknesses, and perceptions of human beings, and how these can be manipulated through verbal and physical body language stimuli. Finally, the third phase is the practical application of these skills and strategies in the real world. That is when you'll be putting your newly acquired skills and knowledge to practice and observing the feedback you get. Remember, I spent the past 12 years sorting through thousands of pages of information and compiled all the best techniques into this package. Some of the material may seem strange to you and not very relevant, but if you follow the course step by step, it will all become abundantly clear to you the methodology behind the program. Let me share with you why the program works so well. The brain behaves in such a way that whatever you continually tell it, whether it is true or not, your subconscious will begin to believe. This works both ways. If you truly believe you are disorganized, but keep telling yourself you are organized, you won't see any result other than feeling bad about your weakness. On the other hand, if you continually tell yourself you are organized, learn more about how to be organized, and then apply the learning, and develop the habits that organized people have, then you will have made the behavior and mental shift necessary to become the organized person you want to be. If you practice some of the techniques I've compiled for you, you'll quickly start to see what I mean. Now, I promised at the beginning of this video that I'd share with you 10 tips to improving your self-esteem. I'm going to share those with you now. Finding self-esteem is like searching for a needle in a haystack, and unfortunately, it's something that can only be done by you. No amount of external intervention can influence someone who doesn't want self-esteem. Having self-esteem is a conscious choice. It can be one of the hardest things to do, but it can also be one of the easiest if you practice the habits that other people with healthy self-esteem do. Here are some of those habits. 1. Accept yourself. Our society is so concerned with perfection. People should remember that everyone is unique and beauty is to be found in every human being. My friend says everybody gets something, some gift or talent. It's true that other people are better at doing certain things than you are, but there's something inside you, a talent you have that is to be celebrated. The trick is to discover what that is and cultivate it. Number 2, celebrate your uniqueness. People are like snowflakes. No two are the same. A person's true worth cannot be seen only in one dimension of his life. For example, people usually envy the rich, thinking that they have everything and thus they are the happiest people in the world. However, look at all the famous people we revere whose personal lives are in shambles and their failures publicly flaunted. We think they have it all, but they only have a piece of what we perceive to be success. Number 3, self-appreciation is the key. Accepting oneself is different from appreciating oneself. Self-acceptance is a prerequisite to self-appreciation, but the latter must always be present. One might accept oneself under a pessimistic light, and this is not very healthy. I accept that I cannot do the things that I really want to do because I am weak is a sample statement which depicts an unhealthy self-acceptance. Appreciating oneself under a positive light is a definite self-esteem booster. One must highlight the good things about him and try to reinforce them and be better at those things. Number 4, don't compare yourself to others. Sometimes being in the wrong environment can contribute to low self-esteem. Again, this can be traced to the lack of self-acceptance. Everybody is different and you have qualities that no other person has. If you're comparing yourself to others, you don't allow your own unique qualities to shine through. Instead, focus on improving your personal best if you must compare yourself to something. Number 5, don't put yourself down. Nobody's perfect. I know of nobody who is perfect. I've learned that making mistakes can reveal a bigger benefit than playing it safe. Making a mistake is definitely normal, and people should start accepting this fact. People with low self-esteem tend to put themselves even lower by continuously and harshly putting themselves down. An inner voice which reverberates inside their heads tells them they are no good. Learning to control that inner voice can be the solution for this problem. Cut yourself some slack. You've done your best, and that's what is important. Review what you could have done differently, and let it go at that. Number 6, befriend positive people. It's a lot easier to have self-esteem if you surround yourself with others who value themselves. Having friends who are positive towards dealing with life's challenges can influence someone into seeing life in the same light, and a support network of even a couple of friends or family can make all the difference. Stay away from the dream killers, the naysayers. They only serve to create doubt. Number 7, remind yourself of the positive things about you. Again, there is beauty in everyone. Remember all the things that you like about yourself and the good things which you have done, and make a list of the most striking ones. This will help in self-appreciation and definitely give you something to smile about. Number 8, use tools. If you're embarrassed about buying books, CDs, and other materials about building self-esteem, think again. These materials can definitely provide constructive ways on how to deal with low self-esteem. The key is to actually apply what you learn, so it isn't enough just to buy it and listen. Number 9, do fun stuff. Having regular fun releases stress, takes the negative ideas out of one's head, and leaves space for positive thoughts to fill in. Having fun creates endorphins that promote happiness. Take a walk, watch a funny movie, do whatever it is you enjoy on a regular basis. Number 10, hang out with friends. Having fun can be done privately, but nothing beats fun with friends. Friends are usually part of the primary support group of a person and can provide much-needed conversations for a down-and-out person. And number 11, get help. When all else fails, seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, since low self-esteem can lead to more serious problems. Having low self-esteem can be solved with the right tools and the right attitude. Loving yourself is the ultimate way which leads to a healthy and better you. Okay, it's time to get down to brass tacks and tell you about the program. It's a 5 ebook course, including a 2-hour audio course on personal magnetism and an extra bonus I've thrown in. Each ebook goes into a step-by-step detail of how to learn, practice, and master the techniques I've spent years testing and perfecting. I'd like you to save the time, money, and effort I spent figuring out what works and what doesn't, so I put the most effective techniques together in this program so you don't have to hunt for yourself. Since you're still here, I'm going to assume you want more details, so I'll give you a quick overview of each item, including the free bonus I'll throw in. Here's just a sample of what you'll learn. Number 1, master the secret techniques of persuasion, seduction, and personal magnetism. 145 pages packed with information on how to quickly increase your personal magnetism. Triple your self-esteem in 24 hours with this incredible technique. Discover how to become the attractive center of focus at social gatherings or business meetings. Learn how to influence a situation to get the outcome you want using these subtle tricks. Use the one amazing phrase that will erase the fear of approaching anyone and asking for exactly what you want. Ruthlessly conquer the little-known cause of poor focus. Cause a dramatically positive impact on anyone you meet or talk to. Create an instant connection with any stranger through mirroring. Effortlessly recognize the unique romantic subconscious trigger in any potential lover and how to manipulate it to flame instant desire. No more stupid pickup lines. And much more. Number 2, covert hypnosis. Did you know you are the victim of covert hypnosis multiple times a day? Who is using it? Governments, large corporations, lawyers, business leaders, politicians, cult leaders, and more are using covert hypnosis. Imagine what you could do if you put it to use for your own good purposes to advance your own projects and plans. This 123-page ebook will show you all the well-kept secrets and exactly how you can use them. How to use specific hypnotic phrases so that people irresistibly react and do exactly what you tell them. Discover precisely what to say to keep people totally captivated by every word that comes out of your mouth. How to influence people like a hypnotic snake charmer in 5 minutes. They'll never know what hit them. To plant any persuasive idea in your speech in a way that attracts enthusiastic fans who are ready to support you and your projects. A magic formula revealed for eye contact that lets others know who's the real boss. What hypnotic words to use with managers, bosses, and supervisors so they are compelled to favor you in situations. Number 3, the 15-minute seduction. To use what this ebook will teach you, you don't need looks, money, or youth. You don't need a limo, a Learjet, a swimmer's body, or a movie star's face. All you need is the ability to say words out loud. From this fascinating ebook, you will learn fast ways to seize a woman's attention and keep it, how to engage and stimulate her emotions so she instantly feels connected to you, discover how to rapidly arouse her body without even touching her, how to make her feel things she reads about in romance novels, creating the intimacy she craves, how to speak in ways that unleash her emotional needs so you can understand them. How can one little ebook teach you all this in ways that are easy to learn and use? By isolating crucial principles like these: the structure of female emotional experience, the structure of female language, the connection between female language and emotion. This ebook is about exactly how female sexual arousal works. You will literally learn how to seduce any woman in 15 minutes or less, emotionally or otherwise. Number 4, Project MK Ultra. This is 31 pages long. The paranoia at the end of the Cold War brought about an increased opportunity for bizarre experiments on unwitting civilian victims. Both sides wanted to find a way to control the other. The U.S. and the old USSR had been secretly engaging in a variety of technical, biological, and mind control experiments, which eventually led to the purging of dark files from the recesses of the governmental vaults. A November 1992 Wall Street Journal article mentioned such a mind control operation performed jointly between the U.S. and Canada beginning in 1955. Financed by the CIA, our Central Intelligence Agency, through a phony front organization called the Investigation of Human Ecology, about $60,000 to $75,000 went to Dr. Ewan Cameron at McGill University in Montreal. Canada allegedly picked up the rest of the tab. Dr. Cameron was well respected in his field and headed the American Psychiatric Association between 1957 and 1961. The good doctor believed he could change people's thoughts and coined the term psychic driving to describe how to do it. Learn all about the dark history of government mind control experiments. Discover exactly what they did to people and what the results were. Arrive at your own conclusion about how to apply or defend yourself with this secret information. Prepare to be absolutely amazed at what you see. Number 5, 10 tips how to get people to like you in 30 seconds or less. In my opinion, this great little 12-page ebook reveals the 10 very best tips I have ever seen for getting people to like you. This ebook alone is worth the entire price of the e-package. Best of all, you can read and apply all 10 tips in less than 15 minutes. Number 6, Personal Magnetism Audio Course. Over 2 hours of audio delving into great detail about the personal magnetism concepts discussed in the ebook. This instant download will teach you more in-depth techniques like use a virtually unknown mind programming technique that will turn you into an effortless attraction machine. Duplicate a series of mental, behavioral, and communication strategies that give you the power to turn anyone and everyone into your greatest admirers and fans. Dominate any situation and obtain the outcome you desire. Convince potential business partners to invest their money and help promote your projects. Become an instant magnet through a special NLP modeling technique. Get twice as much done in half the time. Manipulate the weakness of human psychology and use it to attract and influence anyone. Integrate the 6 characteristics that every human being is unconsciously searching for in a sexual or romantic partner. Hint, these have nothing to do with money or appearance. If you like the ebook, you'll really love the audio. As you can see, I've really pulled out all the stops to bring you a wide variety of information that you can use today to see instant results in your life. As an added bonus, as a thanks for buying my program, is the free ebook, Instant Self-Esteem. This 12-page ebook is a crash course in understanding what is self-esteem and how it affects every part of your life. That self-esteem can be damaged in childhood, and without knowing it, you can hold yourself back in life because of inaccurate memories from childhood. Learn the factors that affect self-esteem and self-image and how to combat them. Where does low self-esteem come from and how to improve it? Signs of healthy self-esteem and how to cultivate it. 10 tips on improving self-esteem. I bet you're probably wondering by now, how much is this going to cost me? Less than you think. Do you think $30 would be a good value for teaching you techniques that can transform your life? Is $20 a good deal for that kind of information? I can do better than that. How about just $9? That's right, only $9 to learn the kind of seduction techniques all guys wish they knew. That alone is worth it. But for that, you get 6 ebooks and an audio training course. That's hundreds of hours of listening, reading, and watching, and as many dollars spent learning all I could on the subject. You get to reap the benefits of my years of learning, testing, and perfecting for only $9. Am I crazy? Nope, just a guy who had a hard time to change his life. The stuff I learned there helped me so much, I'd like to help you. So if you're smart enough to want to learn some of the best persuasion tools out there, buy now. Remember, one of my criteria for the program to make the grade was that the results could be reproduced by others. I've had so much feedback and support that I'm confident you'll see results too. In fact, that's why I invite you to try the package out, risk-free for 30 days. That's right, test drive it, read it all, practice it, and if you aren't completely satisfied you got more than your money's worth, just request your refund. It's that simple. There is a catch. You actually have to do the reading and practice the techniques if you want to see results. The results you will see depend on the amount of work you do to perfect these techniques. If you remember back to my criteria, and one of them had to be it can work for others, and that includes you. Here's what some people have to say about the program. I was going through life not really planning my course, but more just letting it take me. After reading this course, I realized how much more I wanted to do but was scared to do it. Now with what I've learned from the package, I'm much happier. I left my boring job for something that I enjoy. I've made more friends, and I have a lot more confidence. It took losing my job to a brown noser to make me realize I didn't have the social skills to get what I wanted. The persuasion and hypnosis techniques in this package made a big difference in how I approach people in situations. Now I feel more in control and feel more comfortable sharing my opinion. Now I'd like to tell you about our 30-day satisfaction guarantee. Caution, after you make your payment, you must watch very carefully that you are automatically taken to the designated download page. This should happen immediately after PayPal confirms your payment. This will allow you to download the e-package immediately. If you miss seeing the download link, you should email me right away for help at info@equazon.com. Thank you for watching, and I hope you take this opportunity to invest in yourself. You never know what you can accomplish with a few more tools in your toolbox.